what you want. Unbossed, speak what you want. Unbossed. And we're up first. Unapologetically great. Unapologetically great. Unapologetically great. And we're up first. Yes, ladies. That's dope. Yes, ladies. That's dope. Yes, ladies. That's dope. And we're up first. It's time for the ladies. It's the ladies first Chit-Chat crew. It's time for the ladies. It's the ladies first Chit-Chat crew. One time for the ladies in the house. Two time make the people scream and shout. Lachelle, Shonda, Crystal with Nikki on boss and Nikki. L-A-D-I-E-S, and we're up first. L-A-D-I-E-S, and we're up first.
Oh, I forgot to take her off. I'm sorry. Live life in the present tense. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Ladies First Chit-Chat crew, where we honor the voice of the everyday woman. What's up, turtleneck sisters?
Good morning.
Y'all look cute in the tall.
We're honoring the winter season.
Yeah. Sweater weather.
What we are honoring the winter season. I love that. Hey, beautifuls. I'm happy to see y'all. I feel like seeing y'all a couple times this week.
You have.
Glad you see us.
And it's been our pleasure.
It's been our pleasure. Just want to let our viewers know the Ladies First Chit-Chat crew out here being the voice of the everyday woman, being the voice of everyday woman. We are evaluating where we stand and inspiring ourselves to take action.
Amen.
We are practicing what we preach. We are living in the present tense today. And I am able to say this. We had a really great meeting with Lululemon this week.
We had a time with Lululemon.
We had a great time with Lululemon. And I just want you guys to keep an eye out on the Ladies First Chit-Chat crew in the future. And our conversation with the wonderful Dana, and shout out to my Lululemon store on East 66th Street, to Brittany and Kaden and Joy, and shout out to Dana and Ashley for having us. It was a great conversation. One of the things that we talked about with us as the Ladies First Chit-Chat crew, I know I hear sometimes when people see these gorgeous 5 Black women, sometimes they say, oh, it's, people from other races. Is this a show for me? Or is this a Black show? Mm-hmm. And one of the things I'm saying right now that I love about our show, when people from diverse backgrounds come, including men, come to see our show, they realize, these are 5 beautiful, unapologetically great Black women, and they are women, and they are saying something, and they are teaching something, and they are embodying things, and they are making me feel empowered. These are some of the emails that I get from our diverse group of women. And it was funny. That makes me feel good. That makes me feel good. It makes me feel, I feel like that one of the reasons we are going to prosper is because we're not like any other show out there. And I know people say that all the time. We're not like any other show. There is not a show out there that's like us. Yeah, there's some other shows that have 5 beautiful Black women, Black sisters, but we are really evolving. We are becoming. I feel like every time we have a show, we are growing. And I want to kick the show off with this. I was trying to figure out, wow, how is this relating to what we're talking about today? And it is in a way because it is the present and this is who we are. And I watch Trevor Noah. I'm a Trevor Noah fan. And Michelle shared a clip with us from Trevor Noah. And I saw the clip live the other night of his last show. Those of you guys that don't know Trevor Noah, he's a successful comedian. He is he has been the co-host of The Daily Show. He took over after, what's his name? He was the host. Yeah, he took after, what's his name?
Jon Stewart.
Took over after Jon Stewart did a phenomenal job as the host of the Daily Show for years. And then Trevor Noah came, this young Black kid, originally from Africa, from an African mom and a white father. And he really took everything by storm. And one of the things that I loved, he had this clip and he thanked everyone. But I want you to hear who he thanked last. And I want to play it. Y'all mind if I play it?
Go ahead.
Look. Shawnee, I need you. Look, I'm like, where's Shawnee? I need her. I want to play this clip. Can y'all see it?
There weren't tickets that, everyone, there were empty seats. And then I look at this now. I don't take it for granted ever. Every seat that has ever been filled to watch something that I'm doing, I always appreciate because I know the empty seat that sits behind it. So thank you. Thank you to the people who watch, the people who share the clips, everyone who's had an opinion, everyone who's been kind enough and gracious enough to, whether even if it's a critique, doesn't even have to be praised, but some people who watch, I don't like it when you do this, but I watch. I want to say I appreciate those people. Even the people who hate watched, we still got the ratings, thank you. I'm eternally grateful to you. And this is random for some, but special shout out to Black women. I've often been credited with, having these grand ideas of people like, oh, Trevor, you're so smart and and then I'm like, who do you think teaches me? Who do you think has shaped me, nourished me, informed me? From my mom, my grand, my aunt, all these Black women in my life, but then in America as well. I always tell people, if you truly want to learn about America, talk to Black women. Yeah, because unlike everybody else, Black women cannot afford to and find out. Black people understand how hard it is when things go bad, especially in America, but any place where Black people exist, whether it's Brazil, whether it's South Africa, wherever it is, when things go bad, Black people know that it gets worse for them. But Black women in particular, they know what shit is, genuinely. People always be shocked. They'll be like, why do Black women turn out the way they do in America? Why do they vote the way yeah, because they know what happens if things do not go the way it should. They cannot afford to around and find out. And so Black women who have taught me, all of them, the scholars online, the authors, everybody, the Roxane Gays, the Tressie McMillan Cottons, I'll remember the names, the Zoe Tamudzis, the brilliant, brilliant women, taking the time to inform me, to educate me, to argue with me, the Tarana Burks who, laughed with me, talking about everything from sexual assault to just what life is like. Yeah, man, I'll tell you now, do yourself a favor. You truly want to know what to do or how to do it, or maybe the best way or the most equitable way, talk to Black women. They're a lot of the reason that I'm here, and so I'm grateful to them. I'm grateful to every single one of you. This has been an honor. Thank you.
I love that.
And I completely agree.
I completely agree. And I'm sitting here like, when he said that, I'm like, what better way to kick off this show in the present tense. What better way for our viewers to continue to learn today in the present tense and be empowered and involved with my 4 beautiful Black sisters, you know? And for me in the show, before we really get into the topic, I've shared with you guys before, it means a lot to me when we get, when I get emails from women from diverse backgrounds, because it reminds me that, yeah, we are Black and we're unapologetically great at everything we do. And we people are listening and we are empowering and we're doing something, we're saying something. But in that vein, I do want to say this. Listening to Trevor also made me, not that, I always have love for my Black man, but it made me go, I want to hear more from our men. I want to hear more from our men. I want us to listen. And my charge is, I want to hear from our viewers. What do you guys want to hear from us going into the new year? We already have planned to have, couples on, and we're going to have men on, because it's an opportunity for us to bridge and learn and empower each other by listening. I don't know, something listening to Trevor made me go, I need to listen more to our men. And so I am excited. I empower us to really set up some really great guests coming up in the future. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So I just wanted to kick the show off with that. And now we can dive into our topic. Our topic today is living in the present tense. Y'all looking at me like, okay, Nikki. Our topic today is about,
I'll know real quick, like on the whole Trevor Noah thing. I think that's a show in itself, because what he summed up in that message, I think the point of why we were interested in playing it was, here we are, 5 Black women that are speaking, and we're speaking in a language that's independent of color. It's experience, it's love, we're just women, right? But it's amazing that we can do it from such a varied perspective, because we are Black women. Right. And we see things because of our experiences so differently. We're able to see them from many different eyes, right? Because we have to figure out how to navigate in those worlds. Yes. But he definitely summed up for me exactly how I was feeling on Friday. And so for me, this is definitely a show I'd love to see us. And I think we've kind of had a show like that before, but I'd like to see us do something about it. We can't afford to fuck around and find out.
We can't
afford to fuck around and find out.
And I don't think I'm ever going to forget that line right there, because he summed up exactly how I felt. And without going into detail, like I said on Friday, someone asked me, why are you still working? Why are you going to be working on your vacation? No, I shouldn't. But he summed up the reason why I have to, because I've already experienced, not that I'm going to be working hard, but the point is, I've already experienced when I did try to trust somebody. At the end of the day, we've said this before, ain't nobody got you like you got you.
That's right.
As Black women, we understand what we have to manage around. So he summed it up great. And to me, that's definitely a show I'd love to see us have more conversation about. We can't afford to fuck around and find out.
I'm going. You know what? I'm gonna throw out here, because y'all know I'm the visionary. We speak what you want is what the truth and the light tell us. What if we get Trevor Noah on the show?
Let's do that.
That's very doable.
Well, he has free time now. So, a little bit of free time. He's on tour, honey. I already got my tickets.
Yeah, Trevor Noah, honey.
But I was also going to add, I felt like it was a love letter to us. That nobody really, and I haven't really heard it like that before. And I think that he spoke probably what a lot of men feel, but we don't talk to men, we talk to each other, right? And we're just out here doing. And so I really appreciated it from that standpoint as well, because we're making it, we ain't got no choice.
Right.
To do what we do, and we're not looking at it from his perspective. So it was a hug to me when I heard it.
I totally agree with you. I don't know if I agree on the fact that a lot of men feel that way. But I do believe there's a subset of men that do. But I did take it as,
I'm going to let you have your opinion. I'm going to let you have your opinion.
I sum it up as,
I don't want to say that. No.
It was a love letter, and I appreciated it.
Yeah.
You know, I really appreciated it.
I'm going to say this before we move on, and that's why I'm excited to have men on our show and couples on our show. I've been finding out recently, being around my men folks, that there are more men that feel like this. And
girl, I live around my men folks.
And the reason I think we don't know is one of the things that they say to us is that they feel like we're not listening. They feel like we're not listening. And when I heard that, immediately, Shauna, you know, I jumped out like, I listen. Y'all know I gotta listen. Y'all know I'm good to jumping in when I get excited. But they feel like they want to tell us, and we're not. And I heard this from men, not only black men, white men. One of my clients is Asian, an Asian man. He was telling me something. I was like, oh. So I'm excited as we move into our present tense conversation today. Someone just sent me a message about what our March Women's Retreat should be.
Okay, good.
And what is that?
We'll talk about that later. We'll talk about it later. Someone just sent me a message saying something that Nikki said on what our March Women's Retreat should be. Anyway, squirrel. Let me get back to our topic. But I am excited about us in the future. But now today we're talking about the present. Living life in the present tense. Are you living in the present? I'm going to say it again. Are you living in the present? Your blessings are raining down on you right now. Your blessings are raining down on you right now. I'm saying it to myself. We're not waiting for the new year. You know, everyone's like, I'm going to wait and get in shape for the top of the year. I'm going to tell you something. Shani on her Peloton right now already. You know, I'm going to wait and do this at the top of the year. I'm going to wait and sign up for this. No. Shelly always says we're going to start right now. We're not waiting for the new year. We are living in the present tense. Let's talk about it. Let's unpack it and let's chat about it. Are y'all living in the present tense?
Y'all know mine.
No.
No.
I'm on the struggle bus, girl. Let's get it. Come on, Shani.
That's actually because we almost don't have a choice but to live in the present tense because we're living in the present tense, right? But it definitely is a struggle.
It's a struggle. I just want to say this because worry is not the present tense.
Right.
Anxiety is not the present. Stress, those things are not present tense. So I don't care how black women. We all let me put this hair on, let me put this lip on, let me be all right. And then my head is, you know, that's not present tense thinking, right? That's the impetus of, you know, all of the health problems and diabetes and overeating and you know, all of these things that we can't really be present about because we're thinking about outcome, which is why this topic is it's on everybody's street, right? Everybody's street.
But even not as deep as that, living in the present tense could even, I was thinking about this earlier, is just like, you know, how we go to concerts or events with family or whatever, and we're like watching the event through our phone via videotaping or
watching the show, yes.
Or, you know, just not present with your own vision. Like looking through another lens is not living in the present tense.
Correct.
You know,
you're not enjoying it for yourself. You're in some action-oriented place that
Yeah,
has
I consider myself to be a historian, so I always got my camera out, and I'm always. I do.
You're a documentarian.
I am a documentarian, 100%. However, I understand that there is a total dynamic difference between experiencing it, whatever is going on, with my own eyes versus experiencing it like this.
Yes.
First of all, you're blocking your face anyway most of the time when you're watching. So you don't
that
see
part. That part.
Such a good point.
The real, yeah. And so I was just thinking, I'm like, this level of present tense goes so vague and so deep that it does touch pretty much every person, because it doesn't have to be a huge, super deep, whatever mindset type situation. It's very surface on the table being present.
Well, Shani, I know you have a great exercise that you want to lead us through, and also our viewers. Get your pen, get your paper. We really want you to get your pen and your paper, even if it's a napkin. I know it's so. Now, if all you have right in front of you is your phone and your notes section, of course,
then do that.
Please do it. But there's something about having the hand and the pen connect to the paper that makes it present and real.
That makes you present.
That makes you present. Absolutely.
Shani, just because I'm here for the story, can you tell us where this came from?
This is just a regular I'm into regular people, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So this is another mindset exercise that I came across from just a regular businessman who made himself a billionaire from this mindset.
This exercise.
Yeah, this exercise and this mindset. And his philosophy is, if the reason we don't succeed, and we talked about this on other shows, is our mindset and our own selves blocking us. It isn't necessarily other people. It's the mind, it's the things that we put on other people. Oh, they're not gonna like me for do this, they're not gonna allow me to do that, they this, they that, and they're this and the third. And his mindset is like, you put that on everyone else. Like it has nothing, it's a block that you're creating for yourself. So these are just exercises to these are exercises to help yourself see it in the present tense, which we're talking about, and unblock these blocks that we create for ourselves. So
we're
moving
ready
into the exercise. It'll be fast. So does everyone have their paper out? Y'all got your paper?
Got our paper, got our pen.
So this is a 5-step process. Okay. So what the first step to this is to goal dump. Goal dump is literally without any hesitation, without any regard, just literally just throw out everything. Your mind is your, wildest dreams. Just throw everything out onto a piece of paper. It's easier for me. I'm a checks and balance person, so I have to make categories to get everything out and really figure it all out. So I create these 4 categories: personal, health, wealth, business, and then dump into those categories. Again, health, wealth, business, and personal. And then dump all your goals that you have into those categories, or whatever categories you create for yourself. Then number 2, you take out of those goals, you probably can't, you might have 50, 60, 100 goals, whatever. You might have 20 goals. You might have a lot or little, but out of that dump that you go through, take 10 of those and write them in the present tense. 10 of those goals and write them in the present tense. I own, I weigh, I earn, I achieved, I whatever. Just write it in the present tense. I eat more greens every day, whatever it is. Just write it in the present tense. Then number 3, from those 10 that you wrote in the present tense, if you had a magic wand and you were fairy godmother and you could make it happen in 24 hours, out of those 10, which would you pick? Which one would you pick? And because this is an exercise, normally this one jumps right out at you. Like if you look at the paper, if you are thinking about it, this one goal out of your 10 normally just is like slapping you in the face over and over again. So you identify that one goal that you want to happen tomorrow, today if possible.
So Shani, that the third one is identify that one goal you want to happen right now?
Yes.
Out of the 10 that you wrote. One out of the 10.
Yes, out of the 10. Thank you. Then now we have that one goal, right? We've narrowed it down to this one goal. We take that one goal and we transfer it to a separate clean page by itself. And then we do these 5 steps, which is 4.5 because you already really did one. But you write it. You guys ready for the 5 steps? Again, you take that one goal that you've identified, and we're about to exercise with that one goal. Okay. So step number 5, you take your one goal and transfer it to a separate piece of paper. 1. 2, you set a deadline to achieve this goal. 1 day, 3 weeks, 6 months, a year, whatever it is. There's no right or wrong. It's just whatever you feel in your heart. And don't set this goal of like setting the goal for what you think you can do to achieve this goal. Set the goal for when you want it, period. I want to be, let's say if your goal that jumps out to you was a weight situation. I want to lose 10 pounds and give me a 3-month goal from here. I want to lose.
I want to weigh. I weigh.
Well, the thing you would say is I weigh 190 pounds, and then I weigh 190 pounds by
the March 30th.
Right,
yes,
exactly.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. 3, create another dump list of everything you can do in your own personal power to achieve this goal. Everything you can do. We're talking about this weight goal. Get up, go work out, eat well, drink, stay hydrated. Create a dump list of things that you can do in your own personal power. From number 4, from that dump list, create a checklist that you can do daily. Create a checklist that you can do daily. So that is, I get up at 8 o'clock, 8:30, 8 o'clock to 8:15. I do my first 15. 8:15 to 8:30, I go hydrate. 8:30, I jump on whatever exercise. Like, what is your power, your own checklist from the dump list? Then, number 5, take action. You do something every day to achieve this goal. So again,
I love this.
Write it down. Create a deadline. Create a dump list of things you can do in your power to achieve it. From that dump list, create a daily checklist of things that you will do daily to achieve set goal. And 5, actually take action and do that checklist. And that, my dears, is how you achieve goals in the present tense.
Yes.
I love it. So number 1, Shani, you said put all your goals, throw out all your goals on a piece of paper. Personal, health, create the personal health, wealth, and business. And then you take 10 of your goals and write them in the present. Then you take 10 of those goals and write them in the present tense. Example, I write, I weigh, I do, that type of thing. And then 3, identify that one goal out of the 10 that you wrote, and out of the 10 that you wrote that you want it to happen right now. Kind of butchered that, but
however, there's one thing around that piece. Chandra said, and that was really interesting. You create that list. Every time you turn your head to look at it or whatever, your eyes continually go right to that one goal.
That same thing keeps popping out
to me.
So you identify that one goal, and then you take that one goal and you transfer it to another piece of paper. That's what you guys are saying. So it's there, and so you always look at that. Then you set a deadline of when you want it to happen. Create a dump list that everything that you can do in your own personal power. And then the next one was, from that dump list, create a checklist that you can do daily and take action.
Absolutely.
I love that.
I love it too.
I love that.
Or Chandra, was there anything in particular when they say, because like you could have a list and maybe there's something on that list that you think you want to focus on, so you'll pick one. But what do you happen to know the thought process behind which one sticks out to you? Like that becomes your one? Like, did they happen to mention the concepts around that or the thought process around that?
They
I
did.
I think it is.
I was gonna say they didn't, but go ahead, Shell, because I
was curious because there's got to be something to that.
My thinking is the thing you choose is what your mind is telling you.
Yeah.
That pops is what your gut is telling you.
Say that again, Shelly. Say that again.
The thing that you would choose, and this is just a mental health thing, right? The thing that you would select from a list like this is the thing that you're really choosing from your mind, right? You will think like, I really need to get the 15th thing on this list done before I can expect for thing 3 and 4 and 7 to happen. If I don't do if I don't do number 15 first, I don't think these other things will happen, right? And the mind works like that. Well, before I'm in Bali in a 2-piece, I have to lose the weight, right? So our mind will pick something that we are calculating in our brains. But the thing that when you look at that dump list, every time you come away from it and go back, that thing that is the first thing you notice or that your eyes keep going to, that thing that is popping out to you, that's your gut choosing. And that's the important thing to go with, because if we're talking about mental and emotional and how the two work together, if you go with your gut, many things on your list take care of themselves.
Absolutely.
Right? Or they disappear because they're not actually things you need or want. But your mind, right? When we dump this, we're going to be very human in doing this activity. We're going to write down things. Like I can tell you a perfect example when I do my vision board workshops. I have people, I say, okay, tell me what's something you want. And they will name something that has nothing to do with them. Like, I want my son to be a soccer player. And I'm like, what that got to do with you, right? So that's what the mind does. It like chooses things based on these criteria that we have developed for ourselves as individuals. But the thing that pops out on that list that is not you selecting it mentally, but every time you come back, it's like the number 4 thing keeps like looking bigger. This is the first thing your eyes land on. That's your gut choosing. And that is the thing to go with. And I think that would be a part of the explanation behind why this businessman who was kind enough to put this video together and share this with people, I think that is the thing.
Absolutely. I think a big part of that is too, like the notion of like just how we work as individuals. We do create goals and checklists normally in order of like how we think we need to achieve them. To, like Lachelle said, you know, I have a perfect example. People be like, I can't go to the gym yet until I lose a little bit of weight at home first and then go, you know, stuff like that. That's just a funny example. But, you know, people really do that. And from, you know, just listening to other things, I feel like his mindset is that the gut tells you, no, this is the main thing that needs to take precedent and happen first. And then all the rest will fall into place.
It does.
Mm-hmm.
It does.
I have a question. So I love that whole thing. I'm thinking about, I haven't even written my list yet, but I already know what my mind is choosing and then what my gut is saying. And that is what I get to focus on and work on. I find myself doing that. But what happens when, so being transparent, there has been something that's been on my mind for almost an entire year that I was allowing to prohibit me. I was allowing it to prohibit me to listen to my gut. I kept looking at what my mind was telling me what needed to happen. And I'm thinking now, even though that was important, you saying that, I think about would have listened to my gut, listening to my gut and focusing on that would have supported the thing that has been on my mind all this entire year. Absolutely. That just was an aha moment just now.
I mean, do you remember I think it was last year we did the gut show, the following your gut, and it always comes back to that. Just had a conversation with my wife like 2 days ago with some stuff happening right now, and she just kept saying, "Well, Lachelle say, listen to your gut." Like, tell me what Lachelle said. But you know, she's like, follow your gut. What does your gut say? Go back to that. That's like the basics, or how I always be like, you know, go back to the basics. You always can like get back in order when you go back to the basics, right? I feel that way about your gut as well. Your gut never steers you. We steer it.
It feels easier. Mm-hmm. It feels very like downstream. It feels like it feels as simple as,
that's a good word.
I want to walk home instead of taking the train.
Yes.
And that list, I feel like bringing it closer to the smaller things gets you more familiar with what your gut feels like, because I think it's usually, the gut is usually put together in context of these, you know, gargantuan things. And it really is as simple as you said it on one of your podcasts, Lachelle. I think we're all calling each other by our governments now, on brand. But it was in an Abandoned Ordinary podcast, and you said, you know, what do you want for lunch?
Right.
Mm-hmm. And I use that reference a lot because I realized that I might have been choosing what was convenient or available versus what I wanted. Mm-hmm. And what that has done is it's really been a space for me to think about, what do I want in other things that wasn't I didn't realize that wasn't familiar to me. Right. It's like, let me make spaghetti because I can be done in 20 minutes and be like, I don't freaking want spaghetti. Right. You know? And so that was very helpful to me, and especially in something like this.
Doing that, what you're describing is what keeps you very present. When you listen to your gut, it's an activity of being present. What I want right now, right? What I don't want right now. That is a very present activity, right? And so we are, you know, our mind plays against us because it when we're only focused on what our mind is doing, we are either, we have feelings about what has already passed, right? Or we have concerns about what is yet to come. That's what the mind tends to focus on, right? The feelings about what has passed, whether it's something amazing or something you missed out on or something somebody wronged you or whatever, right? Or our mind focuses on, well, how are we going to get to the next stop, right? Like, and worry connected. But in what Shawnee gave us in the rules, right? Step 4 was create a list of what you can do. Being in the doing is intense, right? And that is what this businessman who shared these steps that he used to get where he is in life, that is exactly what he was saying. Everything he talked about was present tense. Write this down right now. Dump all the things. Choose 10 things you really want right now. And now, once you pick the one, what are you doing right now? Right? It is, present tense is the only place to be, but our mind keeps us in the past and in the future. And then that's why we ignore the gut.
That is
present tense.
And I find too, it's the mind and it's the ego. For me, I can be very transparent and say sometimes my ego has gotten in the way of not listening to the gut. And you know, I'm telling you, what Rebecca has said, the gut knows all. And we talk about, and you know, Shawnee's talking about gut. We're all talking about it. I'm in the present tense at this moment. I am very clear that when my gut says this is what we get to focus on, or this is what we're not going to focus on, that's what I get to go with. Yeah. And that's what we all get to go with.
Talk about the ego a little bit more, Nikki.
I think
give an example or try, you know what I mean? Because I do think that ego is the biggest downfall of every human being, right? Talk about how you recognized it in you. That I think that's a really great point for us to.
I think I know me myself, just being transparent. I can. Rebecca just texted me, ego. You don't say.
It's so good when people know you. It's so helpful.
You don't say. I know for myself, I will feel something that says, no, that's not what we're supposed to do. Nikki, that's not what you're supposed to do. But the chip on my shoulder is like, but I can do it. And this is why I can do it. And I can do it. And or in my head, I'm thinking that's what everyone expects me to do. Ain't nobody tripping off me. Ain't nobody expecting me to do nothing. But my ego makes me think everyone is expecting me to do this. So I got to keep going. And even though the gut is saying, no, that's not what you need to focus on. You need to focus on this over here, because this is what you really want to do. And this is what's going to elevate and evolve and become. But my ego is over here like, you know, you feel me?
I do.
And let me tell you something. I'm going to tell you this right now. When I allow my ego to take over, shit falls apart.
You fuck around and find out.
When I let my confidence, like I feel like my confidence comes from my gut. And I feel like that's different.
That is so powerful what you just said. Just breathe on that for 1 second. Seriously, that is really, really helpful to distinguish, because I think those lines get really blurred really fast, and nobody, when it's happening to you, you don't think that that's what it is. It's like, this is my confidence. It's like, nah, that's your ego.
Exactly. My confidence comes from my gut. My ego comes from that people pleaser, thinking what people think, and that shit will get you in trouble every time. It also too, I know when my confidence comes from my gut, that's when I'm in my most authentic space. When when the ego is coming up and all this stuff, that's when it get like, Is she real? Is she this? Is she that? You know what I'm saying? But I feel like the confidence comes from the authentic space. And I know that one thing, you know, I got like 50 things I could put under all of this, but there is that one thing, Shani. I love that you had us go through this exercise. I haven't even written it down yet. That my gut is saying this is
already popping. It's already popping.
It's already and the, you know, and I told you my body clock goes like this. It's already all up in my neck, coming out my mouth. You know, that's what I need to do. And now I need to sit and write down or do something every day towards that gut, that one thing that I definitely want, you know?
Nikki, you said so much in all that you said. And I was so glad that you went from ego to also like people who worry about what other people think. I didn't realize I do this, but I do this. And I think it has a lot to do with trying to stay very connected to self and staying true to yourself. Because a couple of things. I think it's great how self-aware you are and the ability to express it, that your ego gets in the way. Because that is the beginning of it not being in control of you, but you having the option to control it when you show up. And that's the same thing when we talk about worrying about what other people think or what they'll say. I'm doing it now, and I do it often in my life, and I never really thought about it. It's constantly staying true and connected to self, because you make decisions that you feel good with by the time you make the decision. And it's not based off of anyone else's opinions, thoughts, influence, and you're comfortable with where you land because it was a conscious choice, staying connected with self. And so when we talk about living in the present tense, again, the things that y'all were talking about before, like when you start to write out all the things you want to achieve, but yeah, you know, we pick that one thing. Naturally, I started thinking about the one thing my eye went back to, and I look back at all my other, you know, interests of goals to achieve. They will all happen as a result of me achieving that for a number of different reasons or ways. But I think for me, anyway, in this topic, it definitely, like you really hit on it for me when you start zoning in on the things that get in your way, which goes back to, I think Crystal was saying it, Chandra was saying it, when you start bringing in things that worry you, things that concern you, because all of those things are influences. But if you stay connected and true to yourself, you can manage staying in the present tense or the present state in which you're living in, because you're not allowing those influences to get in the way.
I love that. I love all of that, Nick. All of that. Hold on. I want to go. Why are you saying that? I was going one more time for the people in the balcony. Throw out all your goals on a piece of paper. Personal, health, wealth, business. Take 10 of your goals and write them in the present tense. Example, I write, I eat. 3, identify that one goal out of the 10. Nikki just mentioned that. Identify that one goal out of the 10 and write it down. That one goal that you want to happen right now. Now take that one goal, transfer it to another piece of paper. Set a deadline of when you want it to happen. Create a dump list of everything you can do in your personal power to make this happen. And then from that dump list, create a checklist that you can do daily and take action. Ooh.
There is something you can use as a barometer to know if you are acting on the one goal that is popping out on you or acting from gut, is because I do it all the time. It is that doing, like, you know, the list that you're going to create that is about the actions you can take every day, you know, in your personal power. doing those things, even if some of those things are difficult, right? So let's say, for example, weight, right? So all women are focused on weight. So you want to lose weight. And, Chandra is now, she does her 10 before 10, right? She gets up every morning and she does 10 miles before 10 a.m. on her Peloton or some version, some way. She gets 10 miles in. Doing the 10 miles every morning itself, that action may not feel amazing, especially if you're tired or, your body is sore or whatever, but actually being in the action of doing it and doing the thing that is aligned with what your gut is saying it wants, that always feels good, right? And so that's the thing you can use to know if you're working with like ego or what, trying to focus on doing what maybe is expected of you or how you want to please people. And if you're working with what your gut is asking for, no matter how challenging your tasks are, it still feels good. It still feels good when you're doing it aligned with your gut, because anything you're doing in alignment with your gut is something that has an ease to it,
Right.
because it's what your soul really wants to be doing. Even if that's like climbing Mount Everest, that's not easy. No one has ever said that's easy. But if that's what your gut is saying it really wants, there is a goodness there's a goodness, there's a comfort, even in a struggle. There's a comfort, there's a knowing, there's a confidence. Like you said, Nikki, you feel confidence from your gut. There's a confidence in accomplishing even things that you yourself may see as challenging. So that helps you to know if you're feeling that way, if you're feeling good, if you're feeling confident, if there's an ease even to a difficult task, then you are working in alignment with your gut. And I wanted to share that so people, it's sort of something that helps you check in and be like, is this it?
And another thing, Shelley, when you had asked me about the ego and with your gut, you said it. You and Nikki said it. We all said it. That's about you. That's about you and what you want. And I believe it's only you. And with the ego, you worried about everybody else. You worried about everything and everybody else.
Yeah. And your only you is the greatest gift you could give to the world. Because honestly, it's the only thing you got.
Right. I'd like to park on something because I'm thinking about myself. I'm thinking about some of my friends, and within the health journey. And I'm just paraphrasing Shelley. I was trying to make sure I caught it. You said if there's an ease, even with a difficult task, then that's the gut, right? So if we're acting towards the gut, let's just say something as like getting up an hour earlier every morning, right? There's a lot of things, and we know that none of this is easy, but there's a lot of things that get confusing within the mind. I'm not a morning person. Personally, I don't like labels and stuff like that. Like, they irritate me, and I'm not irritated easily, but that, like, I'm shy. I hate all that stuff, really. But that's, fun fact. Like, I don't believe it. That's what it is. It's people's way of, it's just not, because if something had to happen where you needed to get up at 4,
right. People's way of deflecting.
I don't like getting up at 4, but if I'm going to meet Beyonce, I'm up at 2.
I'm up at 3:45. You know what I mean? So anyway, but I say that to say, what happens is it could be like this drive or this want. I want to get up earlier so I have an hour before my family gets up, and this is the time where I have clarity. The house is quiet. This is what I'm going to do. January, Then, girl, we were watching this movie last night, and I went to bed at I'm gonna get up Tuesday instead of Monday. Like, oh, you know what? You can't start anything on a Monday because that's just foolishness. That's what happens, right? There's all of these things. I'm so tired. Girl, it's menopause. I'm so tired. It's everything. Look, you know why I got the list? Because I am the list. It's all of these things you really, really wanted.
Yeah.
But how about if, not to be contradictory, but how about it's like, if this is something that you might do better at 3 p.m. or maybe on your lunch hour, you can take those 15 minutes on your lunch. It's still your thing. It's still this thing that you want, but perhaps it's not setting yourself up for. Some people will, if this gut feeling is attached to an early morning transaction, this thing could never happen.
Right.
So then what if it's about being a little kinder to ourselves to say, listen, when can this happen? Because let me tell you something. I could be on TikTok till Jesus comes.
Yep.
Till Jesus comes, leaves again, and comes back.
But then I'll be like, girl, I don't really have no time to write this list. It's bullshit. So I think it is about saying, how about if I put my phone on do not disturb for 15 minutes during my lunch hour to right? Right. She's co-signing on aunties. But I do think that there's something there, because what happens is that it starts feeling hard, and then it never stops feeling hard, and then you sabotage, and then you get sad, and then you get depressed, and then there's, the weight is not going down, or you're not feeling better, and that's what really happens.
Don't set yourself up for excuses.
Yeah.
If you believe,
because it starts feeling like blame, and it starts feeling like there's a word.
I get it.
I can never.
Right. So if you think the do thing is something that your mind is saying you have to do before the sun comes up, but you know damn well that you're not a before the sun comes up person at this point. Then do the do thing on your lunch break, or do the do thing at 4 p.m. or do right, but just do it.
Right. That's the notion of the present tense. Like really, really focusing on what makes you most present. Where are you most present? How does that equate in your line, in your story? Stay in your lane. Stay in your lane. You know what I'm saying? That's where you really have to focus on. A lot of times also when we are writing our goals and, doing other things, we're also using mental statements that we've heard, like, and that, because who said you have to work out at 5 o'clock in the morning? Who said that?
Nobody.
That works for me because I have kids that get up at 7, 8, whatever. I have places I need to be or whatever. That works for my life. But that may not work for the next person. So it's like really, really silencing everything around you and really focusing on what makes you personally most present. How can I do this with myself in the most present tense?
Love it.
And if that is 9 o'clock at night.
Staying connected with self. I gotta say it again. Staying connected with self.
I love this, y'all. This has been great. Staying connected with self. I love that. And staying in the present tense. And most importantly, paying attention to that gut. Paying attention to that gut. I want to go over one more time as we wrap up the exercise that Shani led us today. Put all your goals on a piece of paper. Put personal, health, wealth, business. Take 10 of your goals and write them in the present tense. Like, I am a multimillionaire. Hey, holla at your girl. Write it in the present tense. 3, identify that one goal out of the 10 that you wrote and want it to happen right now.
Okay, just what one thing that Chandra said that I think is powerful about this, she said it when she shared it with us a few days ago. Well, if there was a magic wand.
If there was a magic wand.
Yeah, that's in that step, right, Shani? The finding the taking the one thing that jumps out at you. So it is the gut, but I do think that because that gut feeling usually gets caught up in the mind anyway, the magic wand helped me to take all of the barriers to entry away from it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I just want to pivot on that again, making sure everybody understood, because that was powerful for me. You do not pick out of that list. It's your eyes. It's what your eyes go to on your dump list that becomes your one goal. It's not you choosing. It's really coming from you. Well, we're saying it's coming from the gut, but it's not your eyes choosing. I mean, it's not you choosing it, your eyes. Where do they consistently go to? And that's how you pick out of your dump list.
Mm-hmm.
I love all of that. Now, take that one goal, transfer it to another piece of paper, set a deadline of when you want it to happen. My goal is like burning in my chest right now. Create a dump list. Go ahead.
When you set a goal, this is what Chandra said also. Mm-hmm. Set a goal when you want it to happen. It's literally when you desire it to happen, not when you think you can make it happen.
That's right.
When you really desire it to be present in your life.
When you desire it for it to be present in your life, not when you think it's going to happen.
That's the deadline.
In your life. That's the deadline. Ooh, I got to hurry up. Create a dump list that everything you can do in your own personal power. And then
towards that goal.
Then from that dump list, create a checklist that you can do daily. And now let's take action. Ooh, let's do it, y'all. And that's for us. That's for our viewers. That's for Lachelle, Chandra, Crystal, and Nikki Unbossed, and Nikki. That's for all of us. Y'all, we love you. Thank you for rocking with us. Next week is our last show for 2022. And we want everybody to dress up in your sparkles. I'm going to send an email out. Even though we can't see you, dress up in your sparkles, get your cute beverage. I'm going to write an email out.
They can post their pictures with their sparkly stuff on.
We're going to talk about that and give it to them. We're going to give you instructions, post pictures, hashtag. Yes, y'all. Next week, we're going to end out 2023 together. Big hugs, self-awareness, taking the action. 2022 and going into 2023. We're already in action mode, living in the present tense. We love y'all. And anybody else want anything to say before we get out of here? Have a great Saturday, y'all. Thank you for hanging out with the Ladies First Chit-Chat crew, where we honor the voice of the everyday woman.
Unapologetically great. Unapologetically great. Unapologetically great. And we're up first. Yes, ladies. That's dope. Yes, ladies. That's dope. Yes, ladies. That's dope. And we're up first. It's time for the ladies. It's the Ladies First Chit-Chat crew. Time for the ladies. It's the Ladies First Chit-Chat crew. One time for the ladies in the house. Two time make the people scream and shout. Lachelle, Chandra, Crystal with Nikki, Unbossed, and Nikki. And we're up first.
Have a good day.